Okay. Om Vagarta viva sampraktau Vagarta pratipattaye Jagata pitarau vande Parvati parameshwarau Vasudeva sutam devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki paramanandam Krishnam vande Jagadgurum Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Hari Om Om Partaya Pradiboditam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Puranamundina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshiniim Bhagavatim Amba Twam Anusandadami Bhagavad-gite Bhavadveshinim Namostu te Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Pullarvindayata Patranetra Yena Tvaya Bharata Taila Purnaha Prajwalito Jnanamaya Pradipaha प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय विष्याय गीतामृतदुहे नमः सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपालनन्दन पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर्भोक्ता तं गीतामृतं महत् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं भीष्मद्रोणतटा जयद्रथजला गान्धारनीलोत्पला शल्यग्राहवती कृपेण वहनी कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थामविकर्णघोरमकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनी सोतीर्णा खलु पाण्डवैरननदी कैवर्तकः केशवः पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलं गीतार्थगान्धोत्कटम् नानाख्याननकेसरं हरिकथा सम्बोधनाभूदितं लोके सज्जनषट्पदैरहरः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयात् भारतपङ्कजं कलिमल प्रध्वंसिनः श्रेयसे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमाधवम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतस्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदै गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुः सुरासुरगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः हरि ओम So we are on day 2. Yesterday we had a good introduction in the next 6 days. Before we go further, there are a few questions that have come. So let me take a few minutes because some questions are common. Some questions will be answered through the 5-6 days. So the questions are of that kind. Anyway, so there are two questions which are very similar. Both of them talked about Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Janani Jatare Shayanam. So how our Atma will attain salvation in the context of this? So that was the question. If you say again and again, there will be Janma and Maranam, how will we attain salvation? In fact, that is the subject matter of this chapter. How do we get out of this endless chakra? How do we get out of this chakra is the subject matter of not just chapter 8. That is the subject matter of all our scriptures. Our rishis were very, very particular that we must find our true nature. That was only idea that the rishis wanted to share with us. So everywhere you will find ideas. In fact, there are different roads which lead to the same destination. That's why Sri Krishna also says in Gita, Ye yata mam prapadyante tamstataiva bhajamyaham. Mama vartman vartante manushyaha partha sarvasaha. They come only in my route. All the routes lead only to me. So different scriptures, different things talk about different ways. Because that is the greatness of Sanatana Dharma. There is no one book and one way and one Janma. And that is a very poor choice for us. We need a little more choice. So that is the greatness of Sanatana Dharma. And so we will anyway answer this question as we go along in the process of going through this chapter. Then there was another interesting question. Sri Krishna gave all these ideas. After leaving this Janma, where did he go? Whether he is also the cycle of birth and death. Very interesting question. See, there is one drama going on. Imagine, there is a drama going on. And there is one actor. And in the drama, the actor is killed. Anyway, let us talk even more good things. He is not killed. The drama is over. What happened to this person? This person went back to his natural role. Just because the drama is over, that means doesn't mean everything is over. This is like after something is over, the small child will look at the other side and see, is there something else going on? Go to the back side of the screen and see, is there, if somebody walked, the child thinks I have to go back to the back side of the screen and find out where is this person. It ends there. So all these avatara purushas who are Sakshat Bhagavan, they just come and play a role and go. They are already beyond the clutches of birth and death. So this question of whether Krishna went through birth and death is actually a very irrelevant question, because Avatara Purushas, it's like the actor. Actor comes and acts and goes. So Krishna is Sakshat Parabrahman. That's why he says Aham, Mam. That's the word he uses in Gita in several places. So therefore, that question does not really require much discussion. So there's another question which says, well, scriptures say, perform all your duties keeping in mind Paramatma. Is it possible to think of two at a time, Karma and Paramatma? We can think 20 things at a time, not two. That is the strength of the human mind. Why two? You can think 20 things at a time. So therefore, we leave the 18 more things and we'll look at only these two. It is very much possible that we are always in Bhagavad Chintanam, even when we do things. It is eminently possible. You know, if I use computer language, there is something called memory resident program. There are some programs which runs always in the background. You may be running something, but in order for the computer to work, you need an operating system. That operating system runs. You are not even aware that an operating system is running. So like that, this Paramatma is our operating system. So we should always think about Paramatma. There is no other way to even think about it and so on. Okay. There are a few questions which are all very deep actually. And I do not know how much of that we can actually take. The question is, the question that keeps haunting me, after I die, where will my soul live until it gets into a new body? These are all very elaborately discussed. They are not left as omitted portions by our rishis. In fact, in Chandogya Upanishad, there is something called Panchagni. It's a very nice concept called Panchagni. It really talks about we will also see it in this chapter. The Uttarayana and Dakshinayana that we see are all going to, in a way, explain this. the Atman, after it drops this body, it doesn't get into a situation of being nowhere. The Atman incidentally uses the body. The Atman does not need the body. It looks as though the body needs the Atman. So, if the body is dropped, there is nothing to worry. The Atman used body only for temporarily. Vasamsi jirnani yata vihaya. Navani grinnati naropurani. As the shirt is worn out, you just throw the shirt and wear another shirt. In the same way, the Atman just drops the body, but Atman's journey is continuous. So that question is addressed by all the scriptures. Even here we talk about Uttarayana and Dakshayana. Anyway, we will see it at that time. When will I be really qualified to merge with the God? That is, there are two ways. One is called Videha Mukti and Krama Mukti. So therefore, what is great seers like Ramana Maharishi, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, they all have had, there are a lot of Videha Muktis. In fact, this chapter also is a chapter for Videha Mukti, not Krama Mukti. It is for Videha Mukti. How do we actually merge with the God? So that is what is being talked about. So I do not know where to go soon after I leave this body. Can my soul think, hear, or see? So this I think, who is this I do not know. If this I is the current person with a date of birth and a passport and a name and all that, drop that I. Because the other I knows where to go. This is only a tag attached to the other I. So therefore, that I knows. When I say I do not know, probably we are talking about this other I, the smaller I. So anyway, the soul knows where to go after it leaves the body, because it says this body is of no use for me in my journey, because every Atman is in a constant journey of evolution. So it finds the most appropriate way to go. If something is not conducive, it says drop it. I don't need it anymore. And it has its own journey. So there are a few more questions. Can the soul on its own reach and recognize God? I will use the word Atman. Soul is a very Christian term. So I will use the Atman. I will replace soul with Atman. So the Atman is Sakshat Brahman. The problem is we are in Avarna. We are in a certain deluded state that we don't know the difference. So the Atman on its own reach and recognize the God. Yes, Jiva Brahma Aikya is the central piece of our discussions. So it knows. But it in a certain form does not know. So we all belong to that category. It is in a certain form, it does not know. So these questions naturally arise, right? Is there any difference between Mrityu and Moksha? Yes, that is a huge difference. Mrityu is only for upadhis. Mrityu is only for material things. Jatasya dhruva mrityu is what they said. Dhruvam janma mritasya cha. What has a beginning will have an end. So Mrityu is only for material things, for those which follow what is called Upadhi Dharma. Moksha is a state which is beyond Mrityu, and that is not for a body. It is moksha, the body never gets, the cells never get. Moksha is not for the body, moksha is for the Atman. The Atman is Nirupadhi. It is not Upadhi, it is Nirupadhi, it is unconditioned. You condition it by putting it into a Panchakosha. That Panchakosha has Mrityu. The Dehi does not have Mrityu. The Deha has Mrityu. So that is some of the differences. We'll see some of them anyway as we go along. So that's how these things are. We will continue our journey. We just set this up. Okay. Okay. So this whole genesis of chapter 8, yesterday we said, why do we have to know chapter 8? We didn't really step into chapter 8 yesterday. The whole genesis of chapter 8 is because of the last two shlokas in chapter 7. Sri Krishna in chapter 7 came with two shlokas. So we'll quickly touch that shloka and move on. The shlokas are as follows. Jara marana mokshaya mamashitya yatanti ye te brahma tadvidu krishnam adhyatmam karma chakilam sadi bhutadi daivam mam sadi yajnam cha ye viduhu prayana kale pichamam te vidur yukta chetasah. Sri Krishna, what he did, he actually threw 6 terms, technical terms here. But he simply said that who knows all these will reach me. So that is how it ended. Since it ended like this, Arjuna did not know what is all this. Suddenly you are, giving some terms. Adi Bhutam, Adi Bhutam, Adi Yajnam, Adi Daivam, Adhyatma, Karma. So you are just throwing some terms and you are saying that those who know all these will reach me, which means now I should know it. Obviously, that means I should know it. So this is how chapter 7 ended. Therefore, in a very logical way, chapter 8 started with the same set of questions. Now Arjuna is very curious. He wanted to know what is all this, right? So that is how chapter 8 started. Now, talking about all these, yesterday I talked in great detail about death and all that, why, death is a very important thing. In fact, if you look at the entire Srimad Bhagavatam, what is the central message there? The central message is in a period of 7 days. Parikshit. So what is this moksha? What is this liberation? What is this amritatva? The amritatva is not to live with the body. The body has to go because they are all the upadhi dharmas. You have to step out of the body. You have to stretch beyond the body and know yourself to be anything beyond and other than the body. If a person truly reaches that situation, that person has obtained moksha. So moksha is not a complex rocket science. Moksha is not like what Sunitya Williams and all that. They went into a complex capsule. They slowly brought it. Then you have to open it and then take them to, Vaikunda or Kailasha. It's not like that. It is a state of mind. It is a state of mind in which the body is irrelevant to the existence of the Atman. It is only an appendage. That feeling we will not get because there are these 3 statements. I am the body, which is not correct, but many times we think like that. I am the body. The body is for me. That's also not correct. The body is not mine. That's also, these are the 3 sentences. And these 3 sentences, we can understand the English meaning and all that. It is not about that. It is about experiencing and living through these 3 sentences. So when Parikshit had those 7 days, in those 7 days when Sukha Brahman came and then imparted him this knowledge, at the end of the 7th day, he became fearless. In fact, Sukha Brahman says, now you are liberated. So Parikshit subjecting himself, Parikshit as a Vyakti, as we know, with this Upadhi Dharma, right? Subjecting himself to Daksha was a very incidental thing. Parikshit has already liberated from this body. So that is the real moksha. That is the mukti. And that mukti is what our scriptures are talking about. So in order to know that, in order to understand that in detail, Sri Krishna introduced some terms at the end of chapter 7. He said, Jara Marana Mokshaya. So the moksha is from Jara and Marana. How do you liberate from the clutches of old age and death, which means old age and death does not matter to me anymore. That is the idea. It is not taking some magic pill that you never get old or you never die. In fact, you can read any number of Puranic stories. You will find one thing common in all these Puranic stories. And what is common? After 20,000 years of tapas, 10,000, take Hiranyakashipu, for example. Anyway, Hiranyakashipu means one who is on a golden cart. Hiranya is gold, Kashipu is cart. So he is such a rich fellow, Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu, what did he ask? Everybody showed they were intelligent, but then there are alpagnyas. Brahman is, sarvagnya. So you read every asura story, their only question is, how do I overcome death? And they were all defeated because they went on the wrong road. So what did Hiranyakashipu ask? Hiranyakashipu put a very complex formula. He thought he has won the game. Not in the morning, not in the night, not inside the house, not outside the house, right? Neither by a human nor by an animal. He tried every possibility. God manufactured something which is satisfied all that. Look at Tripura. I was just talking about Tripura in Shivananda Lahiri class last week. Yeah, I remember this. See, there are these three asuras. Tarakaksha, Vidyunmali, there's one more, three asuras. They did complex tapas. And they said, we don't want to die. As every asura, there may be the nth one in the list. 10,000 people would have asked that question. Is it 10,001? Brahma said, that is not possible. Because what gets a birth will have to go. So your body and all will have to go. Then this guy said, no. You give me 3 patanas. One puri is made of iron. Another puri is made of silver. Third patana is made of gold. And all 3 will start flying. These people thought if you ask some very complex things, the probability is close to 0. This is their calculation. So they said only once in 1,000 years, all the 3 puris will align on an axis. It will come on the same line. Once in 1,000 years. And when all the 3 align at the same time, with a single arrow, if somebody can hit us, we will die. They thought this probability is almost not something. It will never happen. Brahma said, okay, granted, your boon is granted. So what happened? Now these fellows started doing all atrocities, as every asura did. So they all went to Brahma and said, what is all this? They said, go to Ishvara, Mahadeva. He is the one who will help us. So they created a very complex, all these are in Shivapurana, you will find. So they created a chariot. Chariot was made of the earth. It needed 2 wheels. Surya and Chandra were the 2 wheels. You need a charioteer. Brahma said, I'll be the charioteer. Okay. You need the horse to drive the chariot. 4 Vedas said we'll become the horses. You need an arrow, no? Vishnu said, I'll be the arrow. Okay. Now to mount an arrow, you need a bow, stem, long stem. Meru Parvata said, I'll be that long stem. Right? Then you need the thread, no? Then you put the arrow and then create the elasticity and leave it. So this Ananta said, I will be the thread in the arrow. Now you need a bag at the back to keep multiple arrows, no? So the sky said, I will be like that. So everybody was ready. The 3 Patana Tripuras came. The Tripura got aligned. So Hari was thinking, now Shiva is going to leave me. I am going to hit and finish this fellow. Shiva just laughed, all these fellows went. There was no need for any of this. He simply looked at them and laughed. Tripura was Nasha. So you can read every Asura story. What are we getting those Asura stories? There is only one message. Don't try to worry too much about this body. Whatever complex rule you get, I will give you. What was Ravana's problem? Ravana thought Manushas cannot kill him. So he said, he asked Deva, Gandharva, everything he left out Manushya. If you read Valmiki Ramayana, he has such a poor view of Rama. Yeah, after all, he is a Manushya. 3-4 times it comes in Valmiki Ramayana. He tells Sita whether this fellow is surviving or not. He is just feeding on some... See, he had such a low opinion. Finally, Rama, that's why Vishnu took an avatar of a Manushya, because that was one window of opportunity to kill him. So every story tells us that trying to fight death is futile. That's not what it is. We don't have... In fact, let us not worry about death is the point. Let us worry about more substantive things. So this is the subject matter. This is something which we have to understand well. The Puranic stories are telling us in so many ways. Still, it doesn't seem to get into our head. So therefore, we have to understand, let us not worry about death, because the body has to go one day. The body came, the body will go. Let's worry about in between those two events, what we have to do. That is more substantive. That is more important than worrying about this particular thing. So that is where this whole idea is going. So now we'll start with chapter 8. So the first shloka, Arjuna Uvacha, Kim Brahma Kim Adhyatmam, Kim Karma Purushottama, Adhibhutam Cha Kim Proktam, Adidaivam Kamuchyate. Let me read the second shloka and come back here so that all the 6 definitions are in one place. Adi Yajna Katam Kotra Dehesmin Madhusudana Prayanakale Chakatam Jneyosini. In the last 2 shlokas of chapter 7, which was a piece of information, here it turned out to be a set of questions. Because there he said, somebody who knows all of them will reach me. So therefore, now Arjuna is asking, Arjuna Uvacha. So therefore, Arjuna asked, Kim Tat Brahma? What is this Brahma? Using the word Brahma. What is this Kim Tat Brahma? Kim Adhyatmam. What is this Adhyatmam? Kim Karma. So all the definition I put in green color so that we know what are all the technical, these are all technical terms in a way. That's why to separate it from the shloka, I just colored it. Okay. So Kim Karma Purushottama. What is all this? Adhibhutam cha kim? What is this Adhibhuta? You said some Adhibhuta in the last shloka. What is this Adhibhuta? Adhibhutam cha kim proktam? Adidaivam kim uchyate? What is this Adidaivam? So he has asked 5 of them here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 terms here. He is asking, what is all this? What is this Brahma? What is this Adhyatma? What is this Karma? What is this Adhibhutam? And what is this Adidaivam? Because if you have to understand the full context of chapter 8, some of these we need to understand. That's why Shri Krishna has deliberately put all these. We need to understand what all of these mean. Only then the many things that we talk in chapter 8 will all fall in place. So basically he's asking, what is this Brahman? What is this Adhyatma? What is this Karma? What is this Adhibhuta? And what is this Adidaiva? Then this question continues. He says, Adi Yajna Katam Kahatra Dehesmin Madhusudana. Up to this. So, this is another question. What is this Adi Yajna? Okay. Prayana Kalecha Katam Nyeyosi Netatmibi. Then finally he asks one more question. Prayana Kale, in the final journey. Okay. Katam Nyeyaha Asi. How you are known to me. The Asi is second person. It is talking to Krishna. Katam Nyeyaha Asi. How you become known to me. That's a question. Right? Not me meaning Netatmibihi. Those who are in a very Niyama Paripalana, who live properly, how will they know you at the last stage of our life? These are the questions that Arjuna asked. So therefore, the chapter starts with this. Now, before we go further, see, there are a lot of Adi here. You see, Adi Atma is Adhyatma. In Sandhi, it has become Adhya. It is Adi Atma. Okay. Adi Bhutam, Adi Devam. You have, 3 Adis here. Adi Devam, Adi Bhutam, Adi Atma. Then you have Adi Yajna. So the question is, what is this Adi? Let us first understand what is this Adi. We'll go from a term which we know, because Govind has told that's how I have to teach. So let me start with that. There is something called Adhikari, which we all know. What is Adhikari? Adhikari is the manager or somebody. That's not what it is. See, Adi is a upasarga. It is a prefix in Sanskrit. When you use the word Adi, what it means is pertaining to, or the seat of control. or related to. You know, you have to use the word adi to talk. For example, adhikari. Kara means work. Kru dhatu. From kru dhatu, the work kara comes. So adhikari means he is the ultimate control of the work. That's why he is the manager. That's how the word adhikari comes. Adi means the locus of control or the place. Like that. These are the meanings. So remember this. So when you say adhyatmam, then we are asking, where is this atma? What is the reference? Where is this atma? When you say adhyatmam, what is the locus of control for atma, or where is this atma located? We are using the word adhyatma, right? Similarly, adhibhutam. What is related to this bhutam? What is this bhutam business? When you say adhibhutam, what does it mean? What is the source of? Is the bhutam controlled by something, or is the bhutam bhutaha located somewhere? That is the meaning of adhibhutam, right? Adhidaivam. So there is a devata. The devata is located where? That's the meaning of adhideva means anything pertaining to deva, anything for which the control is the deva. Like that we can take. The locus of control is with the deva. Then you have to say adhidaivam. That's a way, like that. Just like you say, the locus of control of work is with this man. So he is adhikara. He has the adhikara. He is the adhikari. So this is the word adhi. Adhi means connected to it. That is a control. That is a reference. That is where things happen. That is the meaning. So what Sri Krishna does is he quickly defines all these terms. So let us see those definitions, because these are only questions. There is not much for us to discuss these two shlokas. I think the answer is substantive for us. The answer is important for us. So let us see what Sri Krishna has to say. In response to this question that he asked, let us see what Krishna has to say. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Aksharam Brahma Paramam Swabhavoddhyatmamuchyate Bhuta Bhavoddhavakaraha Visarga Karma Samhitaha. So there are three definitions which have come in this shloka out of 6. First he asked, Kim Tad Brahma? That's what he asked. What is this Brahma that you are talking about? Because it is in different ways. The Srishtigata is also called Brahma, but that is in Pullinga, masculine. But there is a Napumsaka Brahma also, neuter gender. That is, the ultimate source of, that's a Brahman. They say Brahman. That is ultimate. So here it says, Aksharam Brahma Paramam. He says, the non-destroyable element is called Brahman. Kshara is that which gets destroyed. Therefore, Akshara is that which never gets destroyed. Paramam Aksharam Brahma. So it's a very sweet, short definition. That which will not be destroyed is Brahman. So what does that mean? That means you have to now find out in everything that we are aware of, what is the indestructible component? That component must be called Brahman. That's the meaning. Because it is Aksharam. See, Manisha Panchakam, Jagra Swapna Sushiptishu Sputatara Ya Sambit Ujrimbate Ya Brahmati Pipilikanta Tanushu Prota Jagat Sakshini Saivaham Nacha Drishya Vastu Iti Drida Prajnapi Esyasti Chet Chandalostu Satu Dujostu Guruhu Ityesha Manisha Mama. That's the first shloka in Manisha Panchakam. Jagrat Swapna Sushuptishu Ya Sambik Ujrimbate. Ujrimbate is popping up. Jrimbanam is Josh, no? Ujrimbate, Ut means up. So in your waking state, not only for us, even for a dog, for a cat, for a cow, in the waking state, Jagrat, Swapna, Sushuptishu, deep sleep. Sushupti is deep sleep, where the mind is switched off, the ego is switched off, the karmendriyas are switched off, jnanendriyas are switched off, the body is switched off, Stula Sharira is dead, Sukshma Sharira is dead. We were alone and we were sleeping. That's called Sushupti. So he says, in all the three, something is popping up all the time. That never switched off. How do you know it? I know it because I got up and said I had a good sleep. Where is this I? Who is this I? Because I am then bluffing. Because I didn't know anything. I was sleeping. But I had the audacity to get up. Oh, I had a very good sleep. Who is this I? Which means there is a non-changing, indestroyable component, which is the witness. Sakshi. There is one Sakshi Bhuta. Even in your deep sleep, somebody is watching. Right? That is that Akshara. That is Akshara. That's why Jagrat Swapna Sushuptishu Ya Sambit Ujrumbate Ya Brahmati Pipilikanta Tanushu Brahmati Pipilikanta Tanushu. Starting from the Srishti Brahma up to a Pipilika ant Tanushu in their bodies, in all these bodies. Ya Brahmati Pipilikanta Tanushu Prota Jagasakshini. Something is showing, radiating, and that is the Jagasakshi. Again, this is common to all of them. Now he took three, first line he took three avasthas, avastatraya. The second line he spread across living beings. He says there is some sentient matter in all these. There is some consciousness which is there in all these. Brahmati Pipilikanta Tanushu Prota Jagatsakshini Saivaham. I am that. Nacha drishya vastu, not the one that you see. What you see will perish one day. It will shrink. It will collapse. Some people will put it inside the box. Some people will burn it, whatever it is. Some people will throw it on the Tower of Silence, whatever it may be. The drishya vastu is not what it is. There is something behind all that, no? That's what there. Saivaham, sahaya, that I am alone, I alone, that is. Sahayevaham, saivaham. Nacha drishye vastu iti drida prajna yasya asti. That person who has an unwavering experiential understanding of that idea. Drida prajna yasya asti chet chandalostu satu dujosu. Let him be a chandala, let him be a dvija. He is my guru. That's that shloka, Manisha Panchakam. So what you see common in all of them is this akshara. And we leave all these, we'll go to science. How do you know change? If you have to know change, you need a changeless platform, no? If you are in a train, inside the train, there is, if you pull down all the shutters, you don't know, and these days the trains are not making too much noise, by the way. You don't even know whether it is running or stopping. Very nice. Indian Railways have improved, actually. And sometimes they stop 40 minutes. We think it is running. Anyway, so when you close all the shutters, you don't know what is happening. Only when you open a shutter, oh, you see the tree is running. Actually, train is running. So only from when you have changelessness, you will recognize change. The tree was changeless. The train was change. In the context of changeless, I understood change. So all that we go through in our life, because, you know, I was listening to some pravachaka, he said, one 91-year-old grandfather showed a 2-year-old photo to the great-grandson. Can you tell me who it is? Obviously, the poor grandson at 4 years doesn't know. It is me. There is no relevance between that and this 19-year-old man. But he still says it is me. That means there is something changeless and there are so many other things changing. That changeless is Brahman. Like that, we can keep on thinking. Right? There are so many things, changes we see in the world is only because there is an adhisthana. All these are aropita. Adhisthana and aropita. There is a substratum. On the substratum, you mount so many things. And so many things are seen only because of the adhisthana. If the white screen is not there, you will not see this shloka. The adhisthana is the white screen. On which something is moving now. Now I am going to move to the next slide, it will move. Like that. So that is Aksharam Brahma Paramam. So what is Brahman? That which is unchangeable in anything that you see is called Brahman. Brahma. Right? Brahman, whatever you call it. Aksharam Brahma Paramam. That's the first definition. Why do we need this definition? We should contemplate on changelessness. And if we are able to contemplate on changelessness, we are contemplating on Brahman. That's why we need this understanding. We should learn to see the changeless in change. While changes are happening, we should be able to, we are all so focused on the change. We have taken the white screen for granted. Nobody saw the white screen. They are only watching the movie all the time. Finally, when the movie is over, when they switch on the light, there is a big white screen. So like that. Swabhavo adhyatmam uchyate. See, there is something called Swarupa and Swabhava. The two terms. They say Swarupa Lakshana, no? Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. That is a Swarupa Lakshanam of Brahma. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. So this Brahman, the non-changing thing, is the Swarupa in every one of us. That is the non-changing Lakshana. But each one of us also have something very unique, no? At another plane, we see that we are all different. And where is this difference? While this is Brahman, this is also showing something else, no? So that is called Swabhava. And that is called Adhyatma. Pratyagatma is the other word they use. In other words, from that one Brahman, how did you create this world of differences? You created it because this Brahman actually got into something in which so many other things are colored into it. So each one now looked a little different. And that coloring that we did is called Swabhava. And Swabhava is called Adhyatma. So moment we use the word Adhyatma, talking of the Brahman in a variety, in different forms. So many words they use. Kriti is another word they use, right? Or they use what is called Pratyagatma. Different words are used. So Swabhavaha Adhyatmam Uchyate. So when you say Adhyatmam, Adhyatma, what is the locus of this Atma that you find? Because each one is an Atma, Jivatma. The Jiva, we call the word Jiva also. So each Atma is characterized by Swabhava. Swabhavaha Adhyatma iti Uchyate. So that is the second definition that he did. Then, Bhuta Bhava Udbhava Karaha. It's a single word. Bhuta Bhavodbhava Karaha. It is in Sandhi. Samasta Pada in Sandhi. Bhuta Bhava. This feature of being and a being. Bhu Satta and Bhu means existence. Right? Bhuta Bhava. Creating these new beings. Udbhava Karaha. This act of creating beings. Because the world has so many, where from all these are coming? That's the question next. The world has so many. If Brahman is one, there should be only one, but there are so many which has now come, no? So where are they coming from? Bhuta Bhava Udbhava Karaha Karma. It's called Visarga. Visarga is manifestation or projection. This is the word. So the Brahman is now projected in multiple ways through an act called karma. I mean, it applies to individuals also. What is, we can talk in Anda, we can talk in Pinda also. Now let us talk about at an individual level. What is this karma? This karma is a set of activities that we engage in, set of things that we do, including the Yajna Karya. Shankara Bhashya, he talks about Yajna Karya and all that. Even that can be related to the final discussion. He has made it very concise in his Bhashya. In this chapter, he has not really gone into a great level of detail. So, this karma actually manufactures our future bodies. That's what happens, no? What is this karma doing? The karma is manufacturing our future body. In fact, the only way you can manufacture more and more beings is only through karma. If karma is all exhausted, then the whole manufacturing business will come to an end. It is the karma which has to be consumed, which has to be exhausted. So you need to find another body. That way also we can understand this. That's why this karma is one which has the capability for Bhuta Bhava Udbhavakara. That which has a tendency to manufacture new beings is called karma. And that is what we are all. Because, every Janma is what? Every Janma is a bundle of Sanchita karma which is pulled out. Call it as Prarabdha, Pra-Arabdham. It has started very well. That's the meaning. Pra means prakrishtena. Very well. That upasarga pra means prakrishtena, viseshena. Arabdam. Already started. The moment the child is born, the bag with which he came with a set of karma has started unfolding. And because of the karma only, this being was manufactured. Right? So that is why that is called karma samchita. Samchitaha means samjnanam, known. Karma is known to be one which has a tendency to manifest or project future beings. Bhuta bhava udbhavakara. So somebody asks, why punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam? Karma is doing it. The formula which is responsible for punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam is karma. So if you have to stop that, you have to work on the karma. So that is the meaning. Right? Unless we work on the karma, then these future multiple generations will never come to a halt, will never stop. It will be an endless snake and ladder game. You go in the ladder, come back in the snake, again go in the ladder, come back in the snake, endlessly go. So the answer to that question is why this, when will it stop? It will stop when we understand the meaning of karma. Karma has the capability for visarga. So unless you cut it at the root, visarga will happen. Projections and new bhuta, udbhava, kara, karya will keep on happening. So new beings will be constantly made. So that is the third definition he has given for karma. Adibhutam ksharo bhavaha. Purushashchadi daivatam. Adi yajnohamevatra. Dehe deha bhritambara. So we have seen what is Brahman, that which is an unchanging entity everywhere. Then we have something called Adhyatma. Even that unchanging entity looks like a world of variety because of the Subhava. Then there is a mechanism by which you can keep on seen. Now, Adibhutam. It says, what is this location of the Bhutas? So that is the Stula Sharira. That's why it is Ksharobhavaha. It has a tendency to get destroyed. Ksharobhavaha. That is why all these Rakshasas ultimately failed, because they were trying to keep something which cannot be kept. Because by its very nature, it is a Ksharabhava. Right? That is called Adibhutam. Panchabhuta Kritam, Panchikritam. The Panchabhutas are there. With the Panchabhutas only, all these are made. That's why in Dasashloki, Shankaracharya, what did he say first? He said, Na bhumir na apaha na tejo na vayu na kam. Na tesham sammuhaha. Shiva kevaloham. Chidananda rupaha Shiva kevaloham is what he said. I am not any of these. He says, these are all Adibhuta. I am not this. They are all Adibhuta. Their plane of location is only in Bhuta. And Bhutas are all Ksharabhava. They are all Ksharabhava. They are, nothing is permanent. When Pralaya happens, all your Mahabhutas also will go, no? The cyclicity only will change. Instead of 100 years, it may be 100 to the power 17. Then it has to go one day, or 10 power 17, whatever. It has to go. Everything will go in Pralaya Kala. So, this Adibhutam means that which locus of its existence is the Bhutas. Every one of us have that. And we must understand all of them will perish. It has to go. Jatasya dhruvo mrityuhu. What has a beginning must have an end. Because beginning and end are only two sides of the same coin. It all depends on which side of the coin you are seeing. If you see this side, you call it as beginning. If you see the other side, it is called end. Therefore, all of us have a Ksharabhava also. All of us have Brahman. All of us are Adhyatma. All of us are also Karma. Please understand, all these point to us. That's why we have to understand all these before we go. All of us are Brahman. All of us are Adhyatma. All of us are Karma. All of us are also Adibhuta. So that element of us will actually go. Ksharabhava. Adibhutam Ksharobhava. Purushaha cha adidaivatam. So this Jivatma also has a lot of presiding deities. You know, in Mahanyasa, Lagunyasa, we say Pajanane, Brahma Tishtatu, Padayor, Vishnu Tishtatu. The presiding deity of Pada is Vishnu. Hasteyor, Harastishtatu, Bakhor, Intrastishtatu. The presiding deity of shoulders is Indra. The presiding deity of the two eyes are Surya. That's why, if we have eye problem, with a lot of Shraddha, you say Aditya Hridaya, the Surya Devata has to bless. He is sitting here. So the presiding deity of eye, the presiding deity of speech is Agni. That's why if some people speak, it will be like blowing 1,000-degree temperature. They talk so badly. Your temperature will go up. No wonder the presiding deity of Vak is Agni. The presiding deity of nose or the breathing is Vayu. The presiding deity of the ears is actually Akash, ether, Akasha. Ashwino, there are different ways. From a Bhuta, it is Akasha, otherwise Ashwino. Right? So like this, the presiding deity of reproductive organ is, Hiranyagarbha. Like that, all these are there. Now you may think these are all some fancy ideas. No. See, when people actually pass away, I don't know how many of you have closely watched. Many times, 6 hours before they, or in some cases, 1 day before, their ability to hear will go. That means that Devata has already left. See, the prana, the final thing goes later. Others pack off and go actually. People are not able to comprehend. The Adhipati of Manas is Chandra. So when this Atman drops this body, it is not, it may appear to be a sudden thing. The sudden thing is the last. The Adi Devas will go. That is what it is. The presiding deities slowly leave. So that's why hearing goes, smell goes. They are not able to speak. Because that Agni is also gone now. And there is order also. I mean, I'm not getting into all those details. There is even an order which is specified in which order it will go. All those are also specified, actually. So that is Adi Devatam. So there are different names. So if we refer ourselves from a perspective of Adi Devata, we call ourselves as a Purusha. Purusha has two meanings. Pure Ushati iti Purusha. This is a Pura, Navadwara Puri. This is a 9-hold structure. And that Brahman is coming and sitting here. In that context, he is called Purusha. That Brahman is called Purusha. So Pur also means to fill. So that Brahman is filled into this. The moment it goes out, everything drops, no? So Purusha has no meaning. Pure Ushati iti Purusha. Or it comes from Purayati. That Dhatu, Pur, means to full. Sampurnam, we say, no? It is full. So that from there also you can get Purusha. So that individual, when he is referred to as Purusha, that means we are talking about that individual from a perspective of the Devas. You say Vaishwanara, who is the Jataragni. Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Deham Ashritaha. That is Adidevam perspective. That we are contemplating on a human or this Atman from a Daiva perspective. And if you have to refer that whole person into one, he is called Purusha. Whereas the Swabhava is called Prakriti. So, and Purusha and Prakriti together form this. These are the different ways that we need to understand. Right? So, that is called Purusha. Purushascha Adi Devatam. Then Adi Yajnaha Ahameva Atra. Krishna says, when he says Aham, he represents Sakshat Brahman. He says, I am the Adi Yajna, which means I am the one who is actually behind all yajnas. Yajno vai Vishnuhu, in Taittiriya Aranyaka it is there. Yajno vai Vishnuhu. Right? In Bhagavad Gita, in 2 places, this idea has been told already. I mean, one in chapter 4, one in chapter 9. Brahmar Panam Brahma Vihi, Brahmagno Brahma Nahutam, Brahmaivatena Gantavyam, Brahma Karma Samadhina. There, instead of saying Aham, it says Brahman. The Brahman is the giver of the yajna, Brahman is the receiver of the yajna, Brahman is the ahuti. Brahman is the carrier of the yajna. Everything is said like that. Whereas 9th chapter use the word aham. Aham, kraturaham, karta, swadaham, aham, aushadam. There are, 15 sloka or 16 sloka is there. Aham eva agnihi. All there he uses, Krishna uses the word aham. Whereas in 4th chapter, he used the word Brahman. So you have to connect all the three. That's what he is saying here. When all the yajna that you give, I am there. I am the one doing all that. Adi yajnaha ahameva atra. Dehe, in this deha. Deha Brutam Vara. The best of the people who has carried this Dehi inside the Deha. Brita is to carry support or whatever. I mean, that's an adjective for Arjuna. So the question is, why? What are these 6 different terminologies? Why are we having these 6 different terminologies? So we'll take a very common example, then we'll understand. Right? Take an individual. That individually is called father. Person is the same. Sometimes he is called father. Sometimes he is called son. Sometimes he is called son-in-law. Sometimes he is called manager. Sometimes he is called president of the temple. Same person. Right? So the person is same, but moment you attach an special terminology to him, the context changes, the meaning changes. The same person, when you call him as a father, that means we are seeing him from a perspective of fatherly duties. As a responsible father, what are all the things he has to do? That he is the head of the family. He has responsibility to, take care of everything that is happening in the family, provide a direction, etc., etc. If the same person is a son, then it gives a different meaning. Person is the same, right? The same person may be a guru, the same person may be a shishya also. He is guru here, he is shishya here. All that is possible only because you are using different terms only to clarify the different roles that the same person plays. That is what is happening here. The person here is only Brahman. The only thing is Brahman. But in different contexts, you are given different terms so that you are not confusing one with the other. Moment you say Adhyatma, you know what you are talking about. You are talking about a Brahman playing a role colored with Swabhava, or, with Prakriti. In that context, I call that person as Adhyatma. Or if you are talking about Brahman, an entity which after some time perish, that entity will perish. In that case, you call it as Adhibhutam. You cage this Brahman into the called body, Deha. And Deha is subjected to all these principles of perishing. So if you have to discuss, understand that way, you call it as Adhibhutam, etc., etc. So that is how all these different terms are coming, because we should know all these are equivalent terms for the same person. Otherwise, we will have this problem. We'll have the problem after I die, where do I go? You didn't die. The Adhibhutam went. Only the Adhibhutam went. The Brahman didn't go anywhere. So that way, unless we know the connections of all these, understand that the single entity has different terms, and along with the different terms, different meanings come up, different contexts come up, different perspective we get of the same person. Moment you say Adhibhuta, only Panchakosha will come to my mind. Immediately, in a moment you think of a person as an Adhibhutam, that means you are talking about he made of Panchabhutas, then you talk of Panchakosha, right? So it says, Sayekaha, Sayaye Vambit, Etamannamayamatmanam upasankramati, Yetam pranamayamatmanam upasankramati, Yetam Vijnanamayamaatmanam upasankramati, Yetam manomayamatmanam upasankramati, Yetam anandamayamatmanam upasankramati. If he develops that understanding, he'll Kramati, Utkramati means crosses. That's why Sankranti we say, Makara Sankranti. Sun crosses the Makara. Crossing is called Kranti. Okay. So these different terms are required for us to understand us in 6 different lenses. The same person has different meaning at different contexts. Because all these will make sense when we see the rest of the shlokas. Oh, now we are talking about Adibhuta. Oh, now we are talking about Brahman. Now we are talking about Adi Yajna or Adi Deva, whatever. That we will be able to connect. That's why Sri Krishna puts all these definitions in place so that when this same Brahman is perishing, then the perishing part is Adibhutam. Like that we will be able to understand. So Brahma is immutable, ever present, that will never get destroyed. Nothing will happen. Okay? Whereas Adhyatma is the essential divine nature which remains constant behind all conversion, perversion. The Prakriti is behind so many things that are happening. Right? Then creative energy is karma, which creates future bodies. We engage into something which results in Visarga. Adibhutam is Ksharabhava and the Adidevam. These are the subject and the object of the mutable things. As we travel in this empirical world, what is happening is we become more vyavaharik. There the Adibhuta comes. And there is a Sakshi behind it. That is the Adidevam, Purusha. The Purusha is there and the Prakriti is playing. Those Suparna, Samanam Vriksham, Parishasva Jate in Mundakopanishad. It talks about two birds sitting on the tree. Samanam Vriksham, Parishasva Jate. Those Suparna. There are two Suparnas, two birds sitting in the same tree. Tayoho Anasnan, one doesn't eat. Whereas the other fellow is Swadu Atti Palam. It eats, it starts consuming the fruit. The other fellow is just watching. Like that Mundakopanishad says. So the two are actually the Adibhutam and the Adidevam. That's the equivalent here. Adibhutam and the Adidevam. One place, the other watches or provides support standing behind. Same. It's in different contexts, we understand it differently. Okay. So what is happening is the Brahma and Adi Yajna are the base. These are the words, these are the technical terms which talks about the substratum on which there is a non-moving, that is a imperial Brahma. Krishna uses these two words to bring that. Okay. Then you have Swabhava and Adidevam, which is the next level from that Brahman. You are now coming into a world of differences. You create seemingly different kind of things. That's a platform on which you create the world of differences, no? So that is Swabhava and happening on the top of it. Using all these, you start. So that is where the Adibhutam and which creates karma, and that karma creates future bodies. The Visarga happens, and that's how it goes. So this is a connection between Brahman and even many things that we are doing. So we need to know those connections. What are those different things that are happening between so-called Brahman and what we are doing? Where is the connection? The connection is coming through these 6 terms. Yeah. So you have the Adhyatma and the Brahman, then Adidevam, then the outermost layer is the Adibhutam, which creates the karma. So you can think like that. It's the same entity which is layered like this. In different ways, it takes names and forms and it plays different roles. So this is what Sri Krishna first established. Because when he says Uttarayana and Dakshinayana, then question is which is going, which is not going. Some of them don't go, some of them drop, some of them go. So there is some constant part which is going, there are some parts which are dropped, there are certain parts which are there because of the other one existing, etc., etc. All that will happen. So that is why all these different terms are to be understood. So then there is one more question he asked. Prayana Kale. How do I know Netatmabihi Katam Nyayasi Tvam? You know, that's another question he asked. So he wanted to answer that question also. So there are 2 beautiful shlokas which sets the stage for the remaining chapter. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yaprayati samadbhavam yati nastyatra samshayah Antakale cha mam eva smaran muktva kalevaram yaha prayati saha madbhavam yati nasti atra samshayah. This is the padacheda of this shloka. So what Sri Krishna is saying, Antakale, in the last moment, because there is Adibhutam which will go now. There is an Adibhutam which will go. That event in which the Adibhutam is dropped is called Antakala now. Is it not? That Bhuta is dropped now. That is called Antakala. Antakale cha, he has used the word cha. Cha means also. Also in the last moment. So we have to understand what is that also now. So, Antakale cha mamyeva smaran. Smaran in Sanskrit is a present continuous. Thinking, not thought, not will think, going. We say continuous tense, no? Continuous tense. In Sanskrit, continuous tense is given by smaran, gachan, piban. In chapter 5, there is one shloka. Ashnan, smaran, jikhran. All those you will find in the 5th shloka in chapter 5. You will have all those in present continuous. 5th or 6th shloka. 6, 5 and 6 or 6 and 7. One of those two actually. Piban, Ashnan, Smaran, Pralapan. All these will come. All these means as I am engaged in all these activities, present continuous. So Smaran, Visrijan, Usrijan, Visrijan, all those. Everything is in present continuous. Which means when you are doing in all those activities, that's what it is saying. Here we use the word Smaran. Thinking about me at the 11th hour, at the last moment also. Antakale cha api mam smaran muktva kalevaram. You release yourself from this adibhutam, from this mortal coil, which is anyway ksharabhava. Therefore, yaha prayati, one who undertakes that kind of a journey of thinking of me at the 11th hour also, okay, saha madbhavam yati, he comes unto me. He reaches unto me. Then he says to take out that iota of doubt in us, he says, Nasti atra samshaya. Don't even have an iota of doubt. Don't have a second, oh, what he is saying, is that true? Because there is this saying in Tamil, Settavanukku sudugaadu theriyum. Only you, because this is something which is going to happen after we are gone. So we may have our own doubt, na? That's why he says, Nasti atra. You take my word. Because after that, you don't know. As you know, the question was, don't know. In this body, we don't know. That the Brahman knows, but this body doesn't know. The I that I am talking about is belonging to this body now. That's why Sri Krishna says, Na asti atra samshayah. Nasti atra samshayah. Right? Now, the question is, what is this Antakala? So I was just reading one commentary. I was really stunned by read that. He says, Nishwase na Vishwasaha. What he says is, when the breath goes out, there is no guarantee whether it will come in or not. And that is the Vastava. We don't know. These are all Bhagavad grace. We are breathing so many times. Nishwasa is breathing out. So he says, Nishwase na Vishwasaha. I mean, that is a fact. No, at the end of the day, we don't know. We all live. Nobody knows when the breath which went out, whether it came in or not. If that is true, then Antakale means every time. Because we don't know when it is. If I know, I can, if I say, so and so date and so, etc., until then I don't have to worry. We don't know that. Jivan Muktas know it. There was some Natesha Iyer, one of the devotee of Ramana Maharishi. They are very recent. Natesha Iyer said, 16 days from now, I will drop this Deha. He said, 16 days from now, I will drop my Deha. Nobody took him serious. Next day, he said, 15 days from now. Third day, he said, 13 days from now. 1 or 2 were with him. He finally said, I am dropping my body now. I am seeing Ramana Maharishi Bhagavan has come to take me. And they are all blessed souls. They know. When he said, people didn't understand it, they didn't take it serious. Exactly on the 16th day, he said, today I'm leaving. As though you're catching a bus and going. I mean, if we have that, we are blessed. If only we have that, we are really blessed, I'm telling you. That's a prayer we may need. Because if we know that, and then Antakale, it's an easy route that is being given now. That's not that easy, as it's easy to talk about it. So, Antakala means Sada Sarvatra. Because I don't know when is the Antakala. Although we say Anayasena Maranam, Anayasena Maranam, Vinadainyena Jivanam, Dehi me kripaya Shambho, Toi Bhaktima Chanchalam. That prayer we are making. Let the Marana be Anayasa. Because yeah, you have to go. Better it will be Anayasa. Vinadainyena Jivanam. While I am here, you take care of me. I should not become a Dina. So Dainyam means Dina Bhava. I have to depend on somebody, I have to rely on somebody. These days, things are getting a little difficult. Unfortunately, the society is going in a particular way. So, Vinadainyena Jivanam, Dehime Kripaya Shambho, Toi Bhakti Manchasam, that prayer is fine. I think we should do that prayer. I mean, they are a very practical thing. There's nothing to run away, there's nothing to worry, there's nothing to worry in any of these. It's only wisdom of life. So, Antakala is every moment, because we don't know which moment it is going to happen. Vidyutchalam Jivitam. So we don't know. So although it is nice to say last moment, then the immediate question will come, when is the last moment? I don't know when is the last moment. So better you always think. That's the way we have to understand this shloka. So he says, Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yaha prayati. One who is able to drop his final mortal coil, thinking of me at that time also, he will reach me. So that was the question he asked. How will I reach you? Right? Now Krishna explained this further with one more shloka. Here he established this idea. But this idea has to be even more explained a little bit more. Otherwise, sometimes we miss the point. So the next shloka explains it with a little more detail. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tamevaiti kaunteya sada tadbhava bhavitaha. He generalizes the idea which he said in the previous shloka. In the previous shloka, what did he say? He said, in the last minute, when you think of me, then you will come to me. That is called special case. This is called general case. Sometimes you have a general formula, you have a special example, no? So, shloka 5 is a special case. If you think of me, you will come to me. Here he says, what you think of, you will go there. So, of which 1,000 possibilities, one is also God. That's why it is a general case. That is a special case. So, what he says, yam yam vapi smaran bhavam, you may think anything, smaran, again smaran, thinking of anything. Whatever you think. The earlier shloka, I said, think of God. Now I am telling you a more general thing. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam, with that bhava of thinking something, whatever it could be. Tyajati ante kalevaram, if somebody drops the mortal coil thinking of something, there may be million things to think. One of them can be also Purushottama. Right? So whatever you think, yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajanti ante kalevaram, tam tam eva eti. You go only there. Tam tam eva eti. Eti means reaches or goes. He has used the word eva. Eva means indeed that alone and nothing else. You have to say like that, you have to use the word eva. Eva is used. In chapter 3, Bhagavad Gita, there is a shloka, right? Yadyat acharati sreshtaha, tadyad eva itaro janaha. Sreshta enu martaro, what elderly people do, others will do only that, nothing else. They will follow that in letter and spirit. Krishna wanted to say like that, so he used the word eva there. Yadyat acharati shrestha, tadyad eva tarojana. That's what he said. Sa yat pramanam kurute, lokastadanu vartate. The eva is used to preclude all other possibility. Only this will happen, nothing else will happen. If you have to be crystal clear saying that, use the word eva. He has used the word tam eva. Yam tam. Yam means you thought of X, Y, or Y. You will reach either X or one-to-one correspondence. That's why yam tam. Yam vapi smaran bhavam tam eva eti. You will reach indeed that only. Okay? Sada kaunte why? Sada tadbhava bhavita. This is the most important message. Sada tadbhava bhavita. The question is, what will come in your last minute? That is the question now. The earlier sloka, he said, you think of me in the last minute, you will come to me. In this sloka, he says, whatever you think of in the last minute, you will go there. We all know the story of Jata Bharata. That's what happened to him, no? The King Bharata was all the time thinking of the deer. Sada tadbhava bhavitaha. Sada tadbhava bhavitaha. He was all the time thinking about the deer. So he antakale tasya chintanam deer vishaye eva abhut. That is what will happen. That is exactly what will happen. I mean, it's all nice to say, I will think of God in the 11th hour. That is a lifelong journey. That's a lifelong practice. That is what is implied here. If some people is all the time thinking about money and counting money, in next Janma, they will be only counting cash. I don't mean bankers. There are many bankers do for a profession. I didn't mean bankers. What I meant was, some simply counting cash, nothing else to do. Because that is all the time they were thinking. So some people are thinking all the time about some real estate or some actually create a certain context for them to move. So this is the path of continuity. See, you need continuity. I'm a professor of management, so sometimes I get into management. See, there is a basic accounting course. First course we teach for our students. We call it as 101 accounting, basic accounting. So we teach what is called profit and loss account and balance sheet. Why? Because there is something called going concern. The first principle is the business enterprise will never file. It is like Brahman. That is the equivalent of Brahman. Aksharam, param, So first thing that business enterprise will never collide, will never collapse. It is called going concern. Now, if something does not collapse, then every time when the Ksharabhava happens, how do you go from one to the other? So that's why they close the account every year. Because the infinite period is made of every year of something. Na? So that is like the Adhibhutam which is dropping. So they take what is called retained earning. From the profit and loss account, they finally work out everything. And finally, they come to either loss or profit. Something comes out. Now you can drop the last year. The previous Janma can be dropped. All of them can be absorbed into what is called Vasana and take you to the next. So the linking variable is this retained earning. Either profit or loss, that goes into the balance sheet. Onto the liabilities. I am teaching accounting. I don't want to teach you accounting. So it is like that. It is like that. You need a linking variable from one Janma to another Janma. Because this Atman is now going and going. If the Atman chose the linking variable to be God, then it will stop. Or yam vapi smaran bhavam tejante. Whatever you think and drop your body, you will be exactly there in the next Janma. So this is an idea which has caught the attention of all our saints, all our rishis, all our Santa Mahapurushas. So in many of our stotras, you will find this thought very strongly expressed. So I will take Mukundamala and Subramanya Bhujangam. I will take two stotras and show you the shloka, which says why it is important. Shivananda, everywhere I find it. Samipyam tava pujane, Sayujyam siddhamatra bhavati kritasmosmyaham. There is one shloka. They are also talking in Shivananda, but I will take two shlokas. One from Subramanya Bhujangam, one from Mukundamala, because our elders understood that this is where the catch lies. So let us understand those two shlokas, which says why this is very important. Then how do you reach that last moment? Divi va bhuvi va mamastu vasaha narake va narakantaka prakamam avadirita sharadara vindau charanau te marane pichintayami. First he says divi va bhuvi va, whether it is Devaloka or Bhuvarloka or Narakantaka prakam, let him decide. Wherever I have to be there, let me be there. Wherever, let me be there. Doesn't matter where I am. But Maranepi chintayami. Te charanau maranepi chintayami. Look at the last line. Where, let me be anywhere. But please give me that grace of thinking of you during my time of that's why these people are talking about it. Because yam vapi smaran bhavam tam tam eveti. And he says, if you think of me, you'll come to me. Yeah, take those two shlokas together. So he says, Avadire Sharadara Vindo. I want to think of your Sharada Aravinda. Your Aravinda. I have to be, my thought must be fixed only on your Pada Aravinda. Charanepi, Maranepi, Charane, Tarne, Chintayami. I should remember of your Pada Aravinda even at the time of my death. That is the prayer Kulasekara Alvar has done. And followed by one more beautiful shloka immediately. You just see what he says. Why he is asking for it? He is saying, Krishna Tvadiya Pada Pankaja Pancharantaha Advaiva me Vishatu Manasa Rajahamsaha Prana Prayana Samaye Kapavada Pittai Kantavarodhana Vidau Smaranam Kutaste. He says, Prana Prayana Samaye, when this body is dropped and this Brahman, which is in the form of a Purusha or Adi, Yajna, whatever you call it, different terms are there. When it leaves this body, there will be a traffic jam. And what is that traffic jam? Kapavada Pittaihi. Prana Prayana Samaye, Kapavada Pittaihi, Kanta Avarodhanam. My Kanta is blocked. When I am fighting that, how will I remember you? At that 11th hour, I am fighting something. Kantavaradina vidau, avaradina vidau, smaranam kutaste. How am I going to remember me? That's why you have to only bless me for that also. So this is part of our everyday prayer. We have to do shloka 6 and shloka 7. We only with the grace of the Lord we can do it. Because at the 11th hour, there is so much happening and so many thoughts will come. You have to clear off all the thoughts and give me your thought. That grace of the Lord has to happen for us. And we have to pray for that. So he says, Krishna Tudiya Pada Pankaja Pancharantaha Adaiva me Vishal. So you come into this is your nest. You are a Rajahamsa. You come and stay now itself so that you will take care of me when at the 11th hour. I don't want to think of you at the 11th hour. I want to think of you now. You come right away. Adyaiva me Vishatu. Vishatu means Pravesha, enter. I have given you the visa. Come in. Vishatu. Manasa Rajahamsa. This is your nest. You come and stay here. Because that day, I don't know what will happen. If you stay with me, your thought will be with me. That's what Kulasekara Alvar is saying in these two shlokas. Every stotra of the great acharyas, you will find these kinds of shlokas. So I will show you one from Subramanya Bhujanga, which is a very nice Bhujanga Prayaga. So I will take one shloka which is bringing the same idea. Kritantasya duteshu chandeshu gopat dahachindi bindi dimamtar jayastu mayuram samaruhya ma bairiditvam purashaktipanir mamaya hi shigram. He says, Kritantasya dutaha, Yamadutas, they are coming. Kritantasya duteshu chandeshu, they are all chandas. All, this very difficult people to handle. Kritantasya duteshu santeshu kopat. They come with kopa, with a lot of anger. They say, daha, chindi, bindi, cut. Take this out. Bhagavad Pada gives that kind of a figurative description. He says these Yamadutas will come, I'll say, take this fellow out, cut him, tear him, take him out. Daha, chindi, bindi, iti mam tarjayastu. They will frighten me. At the 11th hour, they will frighten me like that. Mam tarjayatsu. They may do like that. You know what you should do? Mayuram samaruhya, get on to the peacock. That is your vahana, no? Mayuram samaruhya, ma baihi. Don't worry, I am there. Ma baihi iti tvam. You, mama ayahi shigram. You please come quickly. Before these fellows come, you come. This is what he says. Okay? Ma baihi iti tvam purashakti panihi. You got that Shakti's this thing, no, for killing the Asura. With that you come. He said, don't worry, I am there. See how Acharyas bring that idea. So these kinds of slokas we should deeply contemplate and pray. Then the thought will slowly get into our mind. I mean, just took 2 samples. There are many of these slokas like this. So what Krishna is saying is 11th hour is not 11th hour. It's a preparation for the 11th hour. That's why it's the art of dying. It is not dying. It's the art of dying. How do we progress to that which is inevitable anyway? Because it is adhibhutam, ksharobhavaha. It will drop. So Shankaracharya says in the Subramanya Bhujanga, he says they will come. Before they come, you come. That's what we find in Savitri Satyavan story. That's what we find in Markandeya story. That is what it is. The stories are meant to tell us that idea. So that is what he is saying here. I think with this, it's already 8:02. I think we should stop. We will stop here. And tomorrow and day after, holidays. For this, not holiday for your temple. Holiday for only this. Please, we will meet again on Saturday. We will meet again on Saturday. Om Purnamada Purnamadam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Yes, sir.
Mistake me. For normal human beings, he say after he rebirth. So after that death, the offerings will do the karma, start everything. Whereas sannyasis, they say they will not have birth. So they do on that day aradhana. Acharya, Kajipat, everything. So these, how they got exemption? They do not have the rebirth. They say, scriptures of says like that. Is it reasonable? Because my grandfather died as sannyasi. All my father's brothers, we took 20 people joining, performing the aradhana. Whereas for my father, I am doing Sharda. Whereas Kanchipat and other places, they do aradhana.
Yeah.
They do not have the birth.
Yeah. No, sir. I think the sannyasis don't have not left anything to be done in as a karma kanda form. See, Shraddha are all karma kanda. Sannyasis don't have any of those. They don't have any karma to be done by their progenies and further and all that. That is the meaning of the sannyasa ashrama. Whereas grahasthas are not like that. We have to be part of the karma kanda. So they are on the jnana kanda. So they don't have Shraddha and all that. Whether sannyasis will not have birth, that we can't say categorically, but most of the sannyasis may not have a birth. That's a different story. Shraddha is for departed soul, and future birth is for that Atman, what will happen. They are 2 different compartments actually. So what you are saying is true, that sannyasins do not have anything left behind for them to be done. Their sojourn, many of the sannyasins may have a mukti. Some of the sannyasins may also come back. Thank you.